Hey, everybody. Welcome to Wednesdays at Home here at Colonial Church. We actually haven't done this the last couple of weeks. We've just had, I think, some unique challenges. We've had 4 funerals in our community that we've been a part of in some way. It's been good to serve in that way, but it also has taken us outside of our normal rhythms. And we've just had some other challenges as a team. We've put in place our on-campus experience. So we've had 3 Sundays under our belt now of getting to worship on campus, in person, as well as continuing our live stream experience. So with all that said, I'm excited that we're doing this again. I want to spend a little time with my friend and my partner in ministry, Brooke James. Brooke, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm doing all right. You're right. It's been a few weeks for sure.
It's been a few weeks. Yes, and for folks who don't know you, I know we're going to talk about At the Movies a little bit today. So for anybody who's tuning in because they're excited about getting the scoop on At the Movies, we're going to get there in just a minute. But before we go, I want to get to know you a little bit better for our people that maybe don't know you. You're not someone who's in front of our crowd a lot. They're stuck with people like me up on stage a lot. You started out our creative arts pastor years ago. And just within the last few months, I guess it was late in the fall, we made a big shift in your job title, job description. You're now our pastor of city and global engagement.
Good job.
I love that. I don't know how much that's actually shifted your focus and the way you spend your time, not nearly as much as we had hoped, at least in the short term. But what does that mean? What does that mean for you to who you used to be and what you used to be about to versus what we're really asking you to do and help lead the way now?
Yeah. Let's see. It used to mean the creative arts pastor was basically my opportunity to deal with the creative side of things, whether we're talking about music or videos or graphics or online streaming, any number of things, and helping people think outside the box. And that's a lot of what I took pride in is being able to say, okay, well, we need to think differently here. So how can we think differently, and how can we take some of the things that we do and make it work in this other way, and helping people try to find some different ways to accomplish their goals. So that's basically where it used to live. And now with the switch to adding a whole bunch more words to my title,
Fancy words, big words.
Yes, fancy and big, and without removing responsibility at the same time. So I gained more words in my title and also more responsibility and things that I have to do. But it allowed me to shift my focus at least a little bit towards looking outside of the walls. I still get to help people think outside the box and use some of the way my brain is wired to help us figure out what is our weekend going to look like, and how are we going to pull this thing off, and what graphics do we need, and what posts do we need, and some of those things. But it's also letting me add to my focus the things in the city that we are trying to make an impact on, and the things globally that we want to make an impact on, and how we can start to do those things. Unfortunately, it's not just a free-for-all, and Monday through Friday I spend my time out in the city and meeting with people and dealing with all those things, but it is allowing me to give some more focus to that, so we can start to look again outside of our walls, which I would say we probably haven't done all that great for the past few years.
Yeah. Well, tell us a little bit maybe about the heart behind that. Like, I know you enjoyed being our creative arts pastor. I know you still enjoy
Sure.
a lot of the behind the scenes things, a lot of the moving parts that you have your hand on, just opportunities to be creative.
Yeah.
But I know that your heart has a lot to do with this shift as well. What has led you to want to be more and more about our church becoming externally focused, our church impacting our neighborhoods, our community,
Mm-hmm.
our city, the world? What stirs your heart that's led to this?
It's interesting if you look back, for me to look back over the last 15 years of working in church and leading worship and being a worship pastor and then being creative arts pastor and doing all these things. It's just always kind of just been this linear, all right, here's where we're going. And about 5-6 years ago, I feel like God really started working on my wife and I as we were dealing with the possibility of adopting, going into the actually finding out, hey, this is the kid that's going to be coming home to your house and being a part of your family. And so going through an adoption process, seeing things through different perspectives. My son doesn't look like us. And so just being able to make myself have to look at life in a different lens through different eyes that I haven't before. I always talk about this bubble that I feel like we used to live in. And either now I'm outside of that bubble, or that bubble has just burst and there's no going back into it. And so I feel like as God really started working on our hearts and our minds and showing us things from a different perspective, it really started to shift our ministries as well. And, my wife and I both in the ministries that we've had, like, things have changed in where we have focused and how we have conversations and what conversations we're having. And so for me, being able to see things from a different perspective has opened me up to the difficulties that a lot of people in our city and around the world are dealing with. And for us to be the light of the world and to make an impact on people's lives, we have to see beyond the come to our thing mentality of, just come to our church and Pastor Loren's going to teach them. And so maybe your life will change, but that we have to go and be that light, the hands and feet of Jesus to the people around us. And so that's what the goal is, at least, is how do we get beyond that, and how do we give opportunities for our people to be able to go and do those things too.
Well, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I'm grateful for you personally and the way you stretch me. I think that's the gift you give to me, to our team, to our church. I'm just confident that's the gift you're going to give to us moving forward, is just stretching us. There's a difference between being so provocative and uncomfortable, even with truth, that it's not received well, it's off-putting, it's distracting. There's a difference between that and the way I see you being gifted to do, being sensitive to. I've got to nudge people, I've got to stretch people, I've got to expose people. And that's one of the ways I see you leading and wanting to lead. I want that too. And so I'm excited, man. I'm excited about your role. I'm hopeful we can have you do less and less of some of the technology things that you're so good at and creative things behind the scenes, so that you can spend more time and energy pressing us into our community, into our city, globally. One of the things you have had your hands on that I don't think we're going to let you take your hands off of, because you're so good at it the last several years, is our annual At the Movies experience. I know Colonial has had a great run. I think we've had 8 summers in a row where we've done At the Movies in July. It even predates you, much less me. You've had your hand firmly on the last 5. I've got a couple under my belt. I know we're not doing it like we've done it before, but tell us what's coming July 5th, 2020 at the movies.
Yeah, you got me a little scared there, saying that we've had a great run, so now it's over.
No, it's not going anywhere yet.
No, that's right. So At the Movies 2020 is, we all know that 2020 is not the year that we expected. It's not what we thought was coming. And, all of our New Year's resolutions, throw those out the window. Like, those are gone. This is new and different. So At the Movies will be the same. We're tossing out we had plans. We had a build and a theme and T-shirts in mind and everything that we were trying to do. And even some movies. We had some movies that we had planned, and we've basically just kind of said, all right, well, like the rest of 2020, just throw that on out the window and let's adjust to where we are. So yeah, At the Movies will be different. We're not going to have some of the crazy builds that we've had in the past. We've had a sewer for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and a massive pirate ship that for some reason we decided it was a good idea to try to build a ship.
Pirate ship, that was before me. That was like 2017, I think. That was legit. The pictures I've seen that are just overwhelming. I don't know how that happened, but I know we had 60, 80 people just work their tails off to build an actual full-size ship in our cafe. I know we had
crazy.
The Iron Man hallway last year, part of our Avengers theme, and SHIELD headquarters just was so cool. But to your point, that's one thing we're not doing. We're not going to have that build what we call a build theme on campus. Like I wish we could.
Hmm.
What are we doing that still we are t-shirt? I know we're doing t-shirts, right? We're doing
Right. Right.
concessions.
We're gonna have.
We're doing
Hmm. We're gonna have T-shirts, and we're still working out the details of how we do that for people that are watching online and people that are here in the building, because we don't have people in the same place.
right,
We'll still do concessions here in the building, and they'll all be prepackaged things. So
right.
even some of the concessions are going to change. Um, but one of the biggest things, probably the biggest thing that is going to change coming up in July. So starting July 5th, we're going to have two services. We're going to change our Sundays to two services, which has been a while. We've been at 10 a.m. for the duration of the shelter in
Yeah, since
place.
March, we've
And
had just one service at 10, but we're going to go back
right,
to two services as of at the movies first weekend in July.
right. So we're going to go back, but it's going to be a little bit different. So we're going to have two service times, right? So we're going to start at 9:30. We're going to have a 9:30 service, and then we're going to have an 11:15 service, not our 11 o'clock.
11:15. What? Wait, not 9:30 and 11 like we've done for so long.
I know, it's crazy.
9:30 and 11:15.
9:30, 11:15. I love that you're pretending like you don't know this.
What?
That's fun.
This is crazy.
Brand new
Tell me more,
information.
Brooke.
Yeah, so 9:30, 11:15. We need the time in between to make sure that our campus is safe and disinfected before the next crowd comes in. Part of what we're asked to do as we're reopening is to make sure that we're providing a clean environment for everybody to be in. So if you happen to come to the 9:30, great. We had a team that got it all ready for you, but now adding an 11:15 service, we need some extra time in between services to make sure that we have the place disinfected for the next crowd that comes in too. So
Right.
so that will be probably the biggest change that we're going to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. So I know we're gonna be on campus together as well as online. We're gonna have T-shirts. We're gonna have yard signs. We're gonna make available the next few weeks so we can really publicize it well in the community, which we've done before.
Mm-hmm.
We're not gonna have the build. We're not gonna have characters. I know one of the things I'm excited about that we've come up with is something we're affectionately calling the pre-show show. What the heck is the pre-show show? What's the pre-show show?
The pre-show show. That's our. It's something new. We're gonna try it out this year and see how it goes. Because we can't do the build, we want to still be able to engage people in a different way. Because we have people that are local and people that are live online, we're trying to create another opportunity for people to engage with what we're doing here with At the Movies. And it's in a different way. So we're gonna have a pre-show show because we all, when you go to a movie. If you can think back like 4 months when we were allowed to do that again, you go to the movie and you got to be there early because you got to have your popcorn and you got to sneak in your drink from the gas station. Maybe that's just me. And then you got to be there to watch all the previews so that you can whisper back and forth and then get mad at the other people that are whispering. It's like, come on, be quiet. We're watching this. Hey, we're going to go watch this. I can't wait till this one comes out. We're going to go see that one. So we wanted to be able to have something before the movies, kind of like we're used to. And like you said, I think we came up with that on the spot this morning as we talked about
Show.
it.
I love that.
Pre-show show.
I love
the pre-show show.
Well, I think I'm a sports guy. I think of the pregame show. I think of the postgame show.
Right.
You're kind of building up to the hype. You're talking about it. You're setting the stage. I know we're going to do a little bit after to dig a little deeper to kind of talk about next steps we can take with the things we're wrestling with, the things the story kind of prompted in us. I know we've got some special guests lined up that I think are going to be really cool and helpful. So I'm excited about that element. The other thing I wanted to make sure we tell everybody about is the good news is you can still experience At the Movies at home. This is a new experience for us. You can be on your couch with a big screen. Some people are very purposefully going to choose that option. But unlike what we've done for weeks now with our live stream experience, tell us about the platform that does or does not work for At the Movies.
Right. Yeah. So because we've all been at home and stuck there in a lot of ways, the church has had to adjust, and not just we post the message or yay, we're live online, but we've had to find ways to engage with people. And I think of our online small groups and the ways that people have been able to connect with each other.
Right.
But being in different places, we we still tried to give everybody the opportunity to connect in the best way for them.
Right.
So we've had YouTube available and Facebook available and our church online website, colonialchurch.com/live. We've had all of those things available. But one of the things that comes along with At the Movies is we are showing content that is copyrighted by other people. And some of these platforms are not cool with that. We have licenses and things that cover us, but YouTube doesn't really care about that. Facebook, they don't really care about that. So Facebook and YouTube, both of which we have right now, are not, repeat, NOT, not going to be available during At the Movies because YouTube will ban us from being able to use YouTube at all.
It will kick us out.
Yep, they will say bye-bye and they will kick us off. Facebook will shut down the stream. So we're just making the decision that we are only going to be live online at our church online website. It's colonialchurch.com/live so that everybody can come there together and watch it together. We have a chat room. Like I said, we're going to try through our pre-show show and the post-show show. We're going to try to engage people, and we want to be able to do that through our church online website with the chat room there, because it's also available in our app as well. So if you happen to be on campus, you still have the ability to be engaged with it, and you can get online and through the app and still be able to converse with people and jump in. So It's going to be different, but that's the one website that if you are not coming to our campus, you have to go to the church online website in order to be able to watch it.
So they'll be hearing us talk about that the next 2-3 weekends for sure. But my 2 cents, I know we've talked about this, is if you've been using YouTube to engage with us on Sunday mornings, or you've been using Facebook to engage with us on Sunday mornings, it's a good time the next 3 weeks to go ahead and try to get in the habit of using colonialchurch.com/live. Hopefully you can, if there's any glitches or anything you just need to learn to make that work, you can get that out of the way so that when we start At the Movies and that's your only option, you're set up for success. That's really our heart behind this, right?
Right, you're right. And we wanted to be able to give people as many places as possible, but because we have to make this switch, and a lot of people have figured out, okay, if I go to YouTube, I can stream this to my TV very easily, or if I do it on Facebook, I can have a watch party or whatever. But that change is coming, and it's not really one we can dodge. So I would suggest, as you were alluding to, the great opportunity is to take some of the next 3 weeks that we've got left, if you're watching online, and figure out how to use that platform for our church online. Figure out how to stream that. Figure out how to do something like you would do before, and how you can interact, because that'll be key. And we don't want you to wait until July 5th and be the first at the movies and you've missed part of the movie because you're still trying to figure things out. And I don't mean to make that sound crazy, because it's not. You show up and you push play and you're good.
It's not that hard, but to your point, it might require a little bit of effort, or you might just have to troubleshoot once. Yeah. Well, I am excited about At the Movies coming up. You alluded to this earlier. We've had to adjust. We started our work last fall on picking some movies. We actually did some writing over the winter. We did some shooting of film clips in February. I mean, I don't think people realize how much work year-round goes into this. I'm so proud to be a part of it, to step into Colonial's history with this. But we have had to say specifically, okay, we picked 5 movies. I think 2 of these 5 we've decided we've got to pull. We've got to say, okay, they're heavy content. Couple different themes that are really hard, really heavy. We've had to pull back on those because we've got no kids ministry. So we've got kids in the auditorium. We're really excited about a bunch of families on the couch at home enjoying our live stream week to week. The kids are going to be present. And so we're going to take these 2 heavier movies off the table, and then we're adding another one. So we've still got 4 weeks, 4 great movies that we're really excited about. They're family friendly. They're still going to have some deeper adult moments. But having said all that, we've pulled back a couple movies that I know we've talked a lot about, just lamenting. I wish we could still. We've done such hard work. We've filmed. We've written. One of these 2, especially, I know you and I are both really disappointed that we're not going to show in the next few weeks. And that movie, we never do this. We're about to say a movie title. Can I do this? Is that okay? Like, we usually, it's all surprise. We agree. We agree. We can do this,
That's
right?
right.
Okay.
That's right. Sure. We'll get
One
it.
of the movies that we have pulled off of our shelf, so to speak, and we're not going to do in the next few weeks is called Just Mercy.
Mhm.
Some people have seen it. Some people have not, I'm sure. Brooke, without spoiling the story, because I'm a big fan of not spoiling plots, without spoiling the story, why did you personally get excited last October when we first started this conversation about what movies we might do in 2020? It hadn't even come out in theaters yet. It was set to come out in December. Why did you get so excited last fall about this being one of our movies for 2020?
Man, this this movie, which is now a movie, was previously is a book, is a book that I'm actually in the middle of reading for my second time, and it was something that helped, as I talked about earlier, having a different perspective and seeing things through a different perspective. It was one of the things that spurred me on to see things differently, and the author of the book, Brian Stevenson, he's the main character of the movie as well. This guy is easily my write-in vote for president. Like, he has created the Equal Justice Initiative in Alabama. He is probably one of my most favorite people ever. And so this book, it just opened my eyes, and it made me see things differently. And it just, to find out, like, after reading the book, oh, hey, they're going to make a movie out of that, and it stars Michael B. Jordan and Jamie Foxx. It's like, how do you not do that, right? That's like, that's amazing. So it was just finding out that something that I loved already was going to be visually amazing. And so, as we went through what movies are we going to do, we just really felt like it helped us open our eyes. And having to make that decision, I remember sitting there in our meeting as we were trying to decide movies, like, what are we going to do? It was like, okay, well, we're going to do this movie. Well, nobody's seen it because it's not released yet. It doesn't come out for like 4 more months. So I guess we're just going to wait. We're going to risk it and go with that movie, and just have to deal with it later after the movie comes out. And, my wife and I went on opening day to see that movie. We bought it at home as soon as it came out. It's just one of my favorite things. And it's just the character of who Brian Stevenson actually is, because this whole movie is a true story. Like, that's part of this. Is it's not just a story to illustrate a point. This is a true story of something that actually happened. And as we've discussed before, it's not that long ago. This was late 80s, early 90s. Like you said, I think you said you were, you were in high school?
That was, I'll interject. Yeah. That was one of the most convicting things to me. Is it's one thing to watch stories unfold on the big screen or read them in books from way past, Civil War era or World War II, or even like civil rights movement in the 60s. That's all before my time, but to watch this story unfold on the big screen and realize it's a true story. And for me to think, oh my goodness, I was a junior in high school when that happened. And then as the story unfolds over the next several years, oh my goodness, that was 3 months before my wife and I got married. I can remember that engagement season, and it just makes that story, and it's not the other side of the world either. That's in our country, in our
Right.
culture. And so, that jumped off the screen to me, to put myself into that world and to realize what I was unaware that was going on, to realize how much of a bubble, to use your word, my life was still inside. I guess to continue to interrupt you, you were right. I mean, our team then saw the movie in December. We hadn't read the book like you, and we were all really quick to go, yeah, that's got to be something we get to share with the church. We get to talk about, what does the scripture say about this and that? What does it mean to be a follower of Jesus in light of a story like this? What does it look like to be part of change that happens in our culture in light of a story like this? So to that end, especially based, I don't know how else to say it, based on what's going on in the world, based on what, not necessarily new stuff, but things that have come front and center for us with George Floyd, with Ahmaud Arbery, with racial tension, with all kinds of arguments all over on different sides of the equation. How ironic, tragic, we might say, is it that we're not going to show this
That's
movie.
right.
But here's where I guess I want our folks to hear this. We just take really seriously trying to think of families and trying to realize that this has got some heavy content that we don't feel like, okay, I don't know that we can do this in just a few weeks with kids in the auditorium and kids on your couch. But here's the good news that I think part of why we're even spoiling this today. Two things. One is we have agreed as a team we're gonna watch this movie. It's a matter of when. It might be later this fall. It might be in the winter. It might be sooner than that. I don't know. But we're really trying to think outside the box on how can we expose our church to this and have good conversations that come out of it and wrestle with what does it mean to follow Jesus together. But then even more short term, today, tell us what we're hoping people do even after click and stop on this video. What can they do when it
Right.
comes to Just Mercy?
Well, that's a really cool thing, and by pushing pause on it, we're not saying that the topic is not important. It's not that the conversations that will happen, hopefully, after seeing this, they shouldn't happen yet. It's just that some of the movie that we want to be able to show is really intense, and we don't want to make that decision for parents and what they expose their children to visually.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that we don't want you to watch the movie. Like you said earlier, normally we don't do this. We're ultimately we're not allowed to. I know. We like the surprise. We're not allowed to actually broadcast to the world, hey, come and see this movie at our place. And so we're not doing that right now. We're saying you should go and see this movie on your own.
Right.
So what's awesome is that Brian Stevenson and Equal Justice Initiative, which I'm sporting my EJI shirt today, they have made the decision that instead of just trying to make money on this movie, they want people to be able to see it. I think, as you said, talking about Ahmaud Arbery and George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and all these things that have happened in the last couple of weeks, they are realizing that there is impact that can happen through this movie, and they want to make sure that it's in people's hands. So, as we said, we want you to go see this movie. We like the surprise of at the movies and you not knowing what to expect and what to see when you show up on the weekend. But because this one's different, we want you to see the movie. So you can go to justmercyfilm.com, justmercyfilm.com. And for the month of June, they've made this movie free to rent. It's free to rent and it's cheap to buy. If you go to justmercyfilm.com, you can see that I think there were 17 different places where you can get on and stream it live. And stream it live. You can stream it on your TV and watch it at home.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we've loved this movie so much, and Tanner as well. Like, I've watched this movie probably 7, 8, 9, 10 times as we've prepared for this, and I almost watched it last night, and I was like, okay, I don't want to get too deep into it because that'll make me talk about it. But so justmercyfilm.com, you can go and you can watch it for free. You can buy it for cheap. And just find one of those streaming platforms that you're probably already using and be able to watch it now.
For example, I asked you, it's not on Netflix, I think,
right?
But it seems to be on almost everything else, Amazon Prime and YouTube. And I mean, you rattled off a bunch of them, but to your point, to be redundant, justmercyfilm.com.
Right.
Man, I've talked to a couple of our elders that have just seen it recently that were really moved by it. And so for all of you, even if you maybe saw it last December, I think it's timely to see it again now. For a lot of us who haven't seen it, go watch this movie. Have conversations with your family, with your friends. I would encourage you, be careful about sitting down with your kids. I probably wouldn't do that. Maybe your big kids.
Well, I'll interject this real quick here to interrupt you.
Yeah, go ahead.
And of course I would 100% plug the book as well, because the book goes far beyond what the movie actually does, just like every other book. But
the book is usually better.
It's usually better, and the book it includes Brian Stevenson's involvement with a whole bunch of other people beyond the people that are in the scope of this movie. But as you watch this movie, and if you decide to read the book, there is also a young adults version of the book. I haven't personally read it, but I've read the full version. So it may be something that's worth looking into. If you start watching this movie and you're thinking, man, I do need to have some conversations with my kids. I do need to have some conversations that we've not done before. That's another way that you can involve and get that young adult version of the book for some of maybe your older kids that are not maybe not ready for the book all in all of its glory.
Yeah.
But it's another option I didn't want to leave out.
Okay. No, that's good. That's good. Well, let's wrap up. I am really looking forward to At the Movies kicking off in just, I guess today, that's 3.5 weeks away. So it's all 4 Sundays in July.
Right.
And what will be unique in some ways is we'll only be on colonialchurch.com/live for online audience. We will be 2 service times. It's going to be a difficult change. Change is hard. 9:30 and 11:15. And we're going to over and over again be announcing that and publicizing that, but people will still show up at 10, I'm sure, on Sunday the 5th of July. But let's try to adjust to that. Thank you for all your hard work, Brooke. Thanks for taking some time to visit today, and we will see all of you guys either in person or online this Sunday at 10 a.m. We'll see you guys.